What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Parables Podcast, and I am your host, Ejay Cruz. If this is your first time joining us, I welcome you. We bring on some of the most amazing and impactful guests who simply share their story and everything leading up to where they are today and their success. Now, if you guys prefer to watch us, we are on YouTube, and also for your just to listen, we are on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, Castbox, and many more platforms. And the pure intent of the podcast is for you guys to simply gain something out of our conversation, as if you guys are sitting next to us, whether it's morals, lessons, wisdom, knowledge. Hopefully you guys could take it back and apply it in any area of your life. And I'm very excited for my next guest. It did take a while for us to finally get you here. I know you're a busy guy, but I have Andrew Alkana. Is that how I pronounce it? I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Andrew is the owner and founder of Good Company. He's doing a lot of great things in San Bernadino. I knew I had to get him, and I wasn't going to take no for an answer, man. I thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope the drive wasn't too bad.
Nah, it was good.
It was good?
Yeah.
Dude, man, so let's talk about you, man. So, again, I don't know if you were able to catch some of the previous episodes. We really sit down, have a very natural, just super laid-back conversation, and we get to know you and everything you're about and what you're doing with Good Company and, of course, everything you're doing with the community, which I'm very excited to dive into. So let's start off where you grew up and, how was that, your upbringing?
I grew up born and raised San Bernadino Medical Center Hospital. A lot of people from San Bernardino know about that hospital. I grew up, I had my mom and my father, in my home, but I grew up in one of the worst neighborhoods in San Bernardino. A lot of people are familiar with it, Dayton, Del Rosa, the east side of San Bernardino. I had a good upbringing. My father, he was a successful business owner. He was an entrepreneur. He had his hand in everything, and he raised us with good morals, instilled a good biblical foundation in our lives. So we had a good upbringing, but we grew up on one of the worst neighborhoods in San Bernardino. So at a very young age, I saw a lot of just crime, gang activity. And when I lost my father when I was 16. So when I lost my father when I was 16, that was like a turning point in my life as far as like the family dynamic. We just stopped being a family. Like we stopped eating together. We stopped doing things together. It's like me, my mom, and my two brothers, we just kind of dealt with it in our own way by just going to our room, closing the doors, and just kind of just dealing with it in our own way. And it just there wasn't like love in the home anymore, no communication.
Everyone was like grieving in their own way.
Everybody was grieving in their own way. And that would be like the first turning point in my life when I lost my father. He was he was loving man. He gave me tough love. He gave me motherly love. He always every time he punished me, he would always explain. He was a very hard, stern man, but also loving at the same time. And when I lost him, it drove me into the streets, into the neighborhood that I grew up in, and all the things that he taught me not to do. Those are the things I began starting to do. And my mom she became a deceased mom of 3 kids, so my mom was working 7 days a week, never at home. So that left me, in the streets, being out all night, and I started, just selling drugs a little bit right after he passed away. And
16 years old, right?
16 years old. And but I learned everything in my neighborhood, the connections, the activity, how to pack it, how to weigh it, how to sell it.
Yeah.
And I knew it was wrong, but I was looking for love and acceptance and camaraderie.
Yeah.
And I found that in my street
Yeah.
and in my friends in the streets and in my neighborhood. And
that was like your second family, you'd say, right? Like,
yeah, I would say that was like my secret family.
Your secret family,
that my mom didn't know about. And so just being involved, you know, with just gangs and drug activity, hustling, and, you know, just doing that at 16, and obviously selling everything at our house. You know, my mom didn't know what was going on, and, you know, but that was just me in my teenage years. Just, I think that's where my hustler mentality came from my father. You know, because he was very successful. But, you know, when he passed away, that was just a turning point in my life where I should have stood up and became the leader in the household because I was the oldest. But honestly, at that point, man, I was just afraid. I was afraid of not fulfilling my father's footsteps.
How many siblings did you have?
It's 3 of us.
3 of us, okay.
Yeah. And he was just so successful, you know. He had a lot of influence in the community. He had, at one point, he had 30 flower shops from California to Brooklyn, New York.
Wow.
You know, he had a nightclub in Vegas, a nightclub in Texas. He had a Burger King. He had a video store. He was in real estate.
He was like in all the industries.
Stocks and bonds.
Dang.
You know, you name it, he did it. You know, so it was like, for me, it's like, how could I ever be anything, or how could I, you know? And it was just the weight, the pressure, being the oldest in the family, and, you know, having distant family members tell me during that time, you know, you have to step up. You have to be the man of the house.
A lot of pressure.
It was just a lot of pressure, man. And it's something that that still disappoints me, you know, even to this day. But that's, you know, the mistakes that we make in life, they always are for a reason.
Definitely.
You know, they'll always change your character or shape you in a different way. But I would say that would be the first turning point in my life. And you know, just growing up in San Bernadino, I experienced the loss of my best friend. He was murdered. Probably like in a 2-year span, I went to 6 funerals, all close friends, best friends, people that I did everything with. You know, and once you start to lose all your friends in your circle, you know, the pressures of life just weigh down on you. You know, and I became to just be affected by that. And then I, you know, having my own younger brother, you know, struggle with substance abuse problems that tore our family apart as well. So it was just the substance abuse issues going on in the home with my siblings, and trying to balance that with my mother and try to keep the household together. But all that I'm selling, you know, so I'm doing my wrong too.
Yeah.
You know, and then
seems like a combination of lots of different things.
It was just a lot of chaos, and then our house just being raided, you know, multiple times, and it was like, man, life is life really supposed to be like this? It was just, you know, when it rains, it storms. When it rains, it pours, and it was just cycle after cycle, and I couldn't really. I thought this cycle would never change. You know, just the loss of my friends, to gang violence, murder, substance abuse issues going on in the home, and also realizing, you know, the world calls it karma, but when you read the Word of God, it says, you know, you reap what you sow. You know, you sow love, you're gonna reap love. You sow hate, you're gonna reap hate. And I saw myself reaping the seeds that I sown, you know, as far as selling drugs to other families. And even though at the time I would justify it by, you know, I'm not hurting anybody, I'm not stealing from anybody, so this isn't that bad.
You're like making excuses for yourself.
Yeah, and then when you see it affect your home, you know, and you see it affect your brothers, and you start to realize, you know what I'm seeing now are the repercussions of the bad choices that I was making. And, you know, just seeing that I knew how to make some changes in my life, after, I think, I don't know if maybe it was the first time our house got raided. It was like a wake-up call for me that God just sounded off an alarm saying, because I pulled up to the house and I missed the raid. So my brother was there. He got caught. You know, I missed it. And so
your family was there?
Nah, actually, it was just my brother was there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and he was the one, you know, that got arrested. But it was like an eye opener for me, showing me that if I was there, you know, I would have got arrested as well.
Yeah,
kind of like God showing me this will be your future if you don't make any changes. And so for me, I just decided, you know what, I don't want nothing to do with this lifestyle anymore.
So you made a choice.
I've seen what it's done to my family.
Yeah.
I've seen what it's done to my friends. Like I said, a lot of the friends that I was losing during that time, 2 of them, you know, committed suicide because they struggled with heroin. And I just seen what it did to my whole circle. Yeah. You know, and then as far as financially, it didn't even make sense to me anymore. You know, I had money, I had a nice car, different women, but I'm losing everything. Yeah. You know, and on the I mean, I might have it together on the outside, but the side of me was just falling apart. So
the things that mattered to you most were the ones that were falling apart, but the cars and like the money and all that other stuff, the things that kind of didn't matter.
Well, the things that people think, well, you know, the world they gravitate towards those things. Like everybody wants the nice car, the nice women, the nice life, and
the superficial stuff.
I was living the fast life, but it got me nowhere real fast, you know. And so I knew it, and I think I was still in my younger 20s when I made a decision. You know what? I want nothing to do with drugs. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to be around it. I'm done. Yeah. You know, and at that point in my life, that was another turning point where I said, I'm going to go legal. You know, and I started, you know, working and just started getting slow money, you know, but slow money is better than no money, and slow money is always better than bad money.
Can you describe to me, how did it feel when you decided to make that change?
Oh, man, it was tough because I was so used to getting easy money. Gotcha. You know, and then I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, when you're in that life, you have fun. You know, it's temporary fun, but there's consequences. Yeah. You know, the consequences affect you, your family, the people around you. Instead of you being a blessing, you kind of become a burden. You know, and when I made those initial steps of just applying and looking for work, it was tough because you know, looking for work, you're not gonna get paid, you know, a lot right away, but there's value in that. There's value in, you know, working hard, sweating for your money. So I went through my cycles, you know, of warehouse work. I remember I was working in the Hershey factory, FedEx, Burlington Coat Factory. So, you know, I had my shares of just, you know, hard work and people discount, you know, that type of work. But what I would say is, man, what I learned from those places is working hard and the value of hard work, and I'm able to take that and just apply that to other areas of my life.
Nice. Yeah. Around what age was this time when you started working at those those distribution center, Hershey?
Maybe while I was around, you know, 22, okay, 23, you know, I had started working, and
it's been a couple of years that you were jumping from job to job.
Yeah, I really couldn't find no stability, you know, because everybody wants stability, everybody wants the career right away, and you know, I struggled just man, trying to figure out what am I gonna do, you know, for the rest of my life, you know. I really didn't know what to do until, you know, I was able to work in the education field. I was English language arts tutor for a few years. But hey, man, I started making, you know, a little bit better money, but it wasn't something that, you know, that I really, really wanted to do. And it wasn't until along my journey of just growing and taking losses where I started just really seeking God. You know, I came to a point in my life where I just subconsciously told myself, you know, I've tried selling drugs, I've tried relationships, I've tried just trying to mask the pain with everything you could think about, with whether it's alcohol, drugs. I picked up a gambling habit along the way where I found myself at the casino 5 days a week playing blackjack. So I was just really empty, you know. And when you have a void that's inside of you, you try to find anything to fulfill it,
like an outlet of some kind, right?
Just anything. And I you know, I had my period of where I was just women, relationship, you know. And even when I wasn't selling drugs anymore, I had my period of selling just illegal things, you know. And that was my little struggle area of letting go of the drugs, but still falling back into that hustler mentality. I started a friend of mine that time, they were hitting licks all through the elementary schools, getting Apple iMac computers. This was a long time ago. And I started, you know, just really selling them in bulk, you know. And so here I am finding myself in this cycle again. I'm not selling drugs anymore, but I'm still selling illegal, stolen things. And so I caught myself, you know, I'm progressing in life, but then I'm a little bit afraid. So I go back to what I know, my comfort zone. And, you know, the thing about the comfort zone is nothing could grow in a comfort zone. You know, the comfort zone will just suck the life out of you. It'll suck your dreams. It'll suck your drive. It'll suck your ambitions, your goals.
No driving force,
there's
right?
Nothing. When you're in the comfort zone, nothing can grow. Everything dies. You know, so I found myself just going back to my comfort, what I know, what I'm familiar with. But it wasn't until I really started surrendering my life. And what I mean surrendering my life, I mean by allowing God to finally lead me and not allowing myself to continue to lead myself. Because up to that point, I led myself to wrong decisions, bad places, bad choices. And I just came to a point where I said, you know what, God, I really need you. You know, I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of feeling like I'm getting ahead. But when I feel like I'm getting ahead, I just fall back to square one. I'm tired of losing people. I'm tired of losing my friends. I'm tired of looking for love. I'm tired of looking for acceptance. I'm tired where I'm at right now, not successful. I'm comparing myself to my other friends that were successful, and I'm saying, well, why are they successful? Why am I not successful? Just being in a place of just being upset with myself.
And it just sounds like being unhappy, just overall.
Unhappy. I would even say depressed.
Yeah.
You know, just depressed. And then I, like I said, as I was seeking the Lord, you know, I went to church on a Sunday morning all by myself. Nobody invited me. Nobody told me to come. It was just me going to church because at that place in my life, I knew that's what I needed. I knew I needed God. I knew I needed a divine, supernatural intervention. And I remember it was October 2010. I still remember to this day. I went to church, and the pastor preached a message that was for me. He wasn't talking to anybody else, you know. And he preached a message. You know, you feel like you've lost everything. You feel like you're at the bottom of the hole, and
it spoke to you.
And there's no way out. and you lost your friends, you lost your family.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that makes sense right there.
Yeah.
He said, you feel like you're empty, you're depressed, and but he said, I have good news for you. God is here. God is here, standing over the hole with his arm extending out to you.
Mm-hmm.
But will you accept that hand? Will you allow that hand to take you out of the depression, to take you out of the misery? And October 2010, I made a conscious decision to surrender my life to Jesus Christ. And that day I accepted him into my heart as my Lord and Savior. And since that day, man, things just started changing. My mind, my heart, my mentality, how I viewed people. I wasn't worried about being successful anymore. I wasn't worried about trying to impress people.
Yeah.
It was like an awakening.
Like you found happiness in
I was
things
born,
that you never.
I was born again.
Yeah,
I died. The old me died to my selfish ways, and I was able to receive a new heart, a new mind, new peace, new joy, new love. And since that day, man, I've allowed the Lord to lead me, and I've only experienced elevation in every area of my life. Family wise, relationally wise, business wise. When you surrender your life to God, things that doesn't mean things get easy, because people have this misconstrued thing that if you love God and you serve God, life is easy. That's a lie. You still have trials, you still have tribulations, but you have the hope and the assurance and the grace that God is going to take you through any storm that you may experience, but not also take you through the storm, but also grow you through the storm. Because a lot of people, we just want to go through life, not necessarily grow through life.
Yeah. I gotcha, man. That's very powerful. So you were reborn, and it seems like everything's doing good now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you started to enter the entrepreneurial space a little bit.
Well, man, like I said, when I surrendered my life to the Lord, and I just experienced a new transformation.
Yeah.
And as far as, like I said, I started looking at life differently. I started looking at people differently, and I knew I had a purpose finally. Like he showed me that. Like before that, my purpose was living for myself.
Yeah.
That was my purpose. My purpose was living for myself and taking care of my family. That's it. Nobody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's the normal way people think. Like, I have to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And I have to take care of my family, and that's it.
Yeah.
And but there's more to life than you and your circle.
Yeah.
And then God started showing me that like you were pretty selfish. All those years you only thought about yourself.
Yeah.
And then it was true. All I thought about was my needs, my self needs. And we live in a day and age of self promotion, self-work, self-gain, self-righteousness. We just want to do everything from self, but when you work under that type of scheme, it all eventually leads to self-destruction.
Yeah.
The Bible says, what can a man gain to gain the whole world, but to lose his soul? We chase the nice house, the nice cars, the temporary things in life. And there's nothing wrong with having these things, but these things cannot be, like our number one source in life.
Right.
God wants to be the number one source. And when you're connected to the number one source, the resources will flow.
Yeah.
Everything else he'll that's why, God said, when you seek ye first the kingdom of God, seek me first, I'll add everything else to your life. But with people in general, it's like money first, and God will be third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or even if he's on the list, like God's just sitting on the shelf. And when you read the word, God, the scriptures, Jesus said simply, he said, you can't serve God and you can't serve money.
Yeah.
And people always say, why did he say that? Like, why did he say money? Because God knew that money would be the number one competition to him. That's why it says, you could only have one master.
Yeah.
But when the entrepreneurship started coming along, I started just growing at my church. I started growing spiritually. I started growing in the Word, just studying more. And as I started studying more, man, God started giving me visions. And the first vision He gave me was to open up a store in San Bernardino, and that was something like that I never thought about.
Yeah.
Never, wasn't a goal, wasn't a dream. It was just nothing that I really wanted to do.
Nothing that you ever thought about doing.
Nothing that I ever thought about. I always loved shoes. I always loved fashion. That's something that I was always into.
I was just gonna ask, were you in the sneaker culture too?
Well, I growing up in the hood, you either sell drugs or you play sports, and I did both.
Gotcha.
And
so you were embedded in the culture.
Yeah, I was embedded in the culture.
Okay.
My mom she signed us up in the YMCA. Second grade, so I played organized basketball. Second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and played middle school ball, high school ball. Unfortunately, I stopped growing. So, that was like one of the things that also stopped me pursuing. But obviously the drugs pulled me away from the sports and other stupid things. But being in the culture of sneakers and fashion, God started showing me, you're gonna have He didn't show me everything at once, but the first thing He showed me the shop. He showed me how it was gonna look. And then he showed me the people. He showed me the people that I was going to be impacting. He showed me the people that I was going to be helping. He showed me the people that I was going to be investing in. And whenever you get a vision from God, this is how you know it's a vision from God. A vision from God is always, it's not just going to bless you, but it's going to bless everybody around you. Because God, this is the truth, God does not want to bless you just so that you could be blessed. He wants to bless you so that it could infect your family, it could infect your friends, and it could infect your community. That's how you know a vision from God. Now, a vision from self, it's just going to benefit self.
Yeah.
And a lot of people confuse and they give God glory, they give God credit. But this is how you know if it's a vision from God, when people are really able to eat from it.
Gotcha.
Because if it's not a blessing to everybody, it was just a vision from you. It was a man, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I know a lot of successful people that don't have God in their life. They're still successful. Yeah. They're still moving and operating, in a different lane. But at the end of the day, real peace, real love, and real joy. That's something that you cannot get from the temporary things of life. These things in life, they can give you temporary peace, but it's a very, very, very small piece. And so as I started growing in the things of God, he showed me the shop and all this stuff. But unfortunately, I didn't have the money, to just start a business. Yeah. So,
and walk me through, like, how did that's because you were into the fashion and the sneaker, how did that kind of come together with the store that God gave you that vision with?
Well, it first started with I just started selling my collection. Okay. Piece by piece, and I happened to sell all my shoes during a time before everything got re-retroed. Okay. So I was able to get and it wasn't a coincidence. I was able to get top dollar for shoes that aren't worth much today. Yeah. As I sold it at peak time. Yeah. No, I didn't know during that time everything was going to get re-retroed. So I sold it during a time where shoes were the certain releases that I had were still rare. Yeah. And I was able to get top dollar. And as I started selling my shoes, I was selling the shoes out the trunk of my car, selling my shoes through the shoe groups. This was probably like 2010. There wasn't any shoe groups around, and the only shoe group that was around was I don't know if you remember SGLA. Okay. Shoe Game Los Angeles. Yeah. They were the first shoe. There's 100 shoe groups, but I think they were the first shoe group. I started selling my shoes through the shoe groups. I started meeting guys like at Riff LA, LA, Hollywood. I started making like my daily rounds where I would just piece up shoes and just drive to LA. And just during the transitioning of selling the shoes out the trunk of my car, I started making good money.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't working at the time, so it was just really just selling shoes out the trunk of my car. And as I was doing that, I was just being faithful. And I was just being diligent, and I started saving my money.
Yeah.
You know, through all the shoes that I was selling. And it was a slow gain, because I didn't sell my shoes like in bulk. I pieced everything out.
It was a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it was a lot of hard work. So I mean, I started getting money, but it wasn't like I got 10 grand overnight.
Yeah,
it took months selling a pair here, 2 pairs here, a pair here. But you know what, man? I enjoyed the process. You know, I knew that since I didn't have any financial support, moral support during that time, and wanting to start a business, I knew it was going to take time. And I was okay with that. A lot of people, when they look at a goal, they look at a dream, they want overnight success.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, and that's where the hard work came from. In working in my early 20s in the warehouses, that's where the hard work kicked in, by driving and meeting and being patient and playing the waiting game. And it was a slow cycle of how I was able to, you know, just financially get my money up. And so I started selling shoes just out the trunk of my car. But I treated the trunk of my car like it was an actual business,
like your store. Like
yes. So a lot of people, like they discount small beginnings. You know, power amount things come from small beginnings.
Like
and
your garage or
even
trunk.
like this right now, like this is gonna be something that you probably, I mean, you want it to be big, but it's gonna be bigger than what you could even imagine. You know, just by you being faithful. You know, and when you read the word, the Bible says, when you're faithful with a few things, he'll make you a ruler over much. He'll make you a ruler over many. But there's greatness in small things, but people fail to realize that, because they see small things, they're just like, it's nothing, it's not enough, it's not going to turn out to what I want it to be. And so I was just faithful, bro, and I had a good attitude about it. I was cheerful about it. I was excited, like I was selling shoes out the trunk of my car, but I saw the trunk of my car as a shop already. You know, even though probably the people that bought shoes from me, they had no idea.
They didn't think of it
like that. But I treated, you know, every sale, I was just so thankful. You know, I was just like, you know, like I enjoyed like the small beginnings of the process. And that's the thing about the process. People hate it. You know, people want the prize. They want the promise, but they do not want the process.
You have to love the process. And that's actually something I'm learning now too. And I've had to transform my mind like crazy in regards to that. Like, you can't, if you don't love the process, you're not going to be fulfilled, one, and you're not going to be able to reflect back, you know what I mean, when you get to that place you want to be. And you reflect back, you know what I'm saying? And
that's so true.
And dude, it's crazy. So let me ask you something though. You were in the culture already, because you said you were into fashion sneakers. When you started doing a lot of the selling from your trunk, did you feel like you got more into the culture, or you started to fall in love more in culture, or that has that love always been there?
As the love for sneakers,
like
or
the culture.
The sneakers have always been. You know, I'm 33, so I come from the day where I used to camp out, like, you know, like there was no wristbands, no tickets.
None of that.
You know, like I really camped out for shoes. I really freezed overnight. I really was rained on all night. I camped out for all these shoes. I would, you know, even when I wasn't, you know, selling drugs anymore, you know, and I was working legit jobs, like I would eat top ramen for 2 weeks.
You were in the game.
So
you were
you talking about sacrifice. Like the phone's off, because I gotta buy these shoes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It became an obsession, you know. And at that time, like, I accumulated easily over 100 pairs of shoes.
Yeah,
So even though I didn't have a business, I had these shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to put it to use, and so I love, even to the. I mean, I don't buy shoes because I don't think I'll never get to a point to where I'll be like heavily 100 pairs of shoes. Like I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. Like I'm down to like about 30 to 40, which is like real good compared
to before.
To what, because there's not. I mean, it came to a point. You don't need. I only have 2 feet. I don't need 100 pairs of shoes. And
that's funny. I came to that realization about a couple of years ago too, when I sold a lot of my heat to when I gave it away. But that's funny, dude. That's funny. You bring up like you only got 2 feet. That's freaking true. And dude, like they're meant to be worn too. At least that's just my opinion. But so you were saving up a lot to from selling from your trunk, and then what happened next? Where did Good Company start to be born?
So I started selling out the trunk of my car. Just would do it. I would do it locally, but primarily LA. That's where I was able to capitalize, a lot of money off certain releases. And then from there, my mom owns a flower shop, so she had a place that was available for rent, but she didn't believe yet in what I was doing. She didn't know. She knew I was doing something, but she didn't really know. And so I would ask her, when she had a vacancy, I said, I would like to rent this place out. And my mom told me no. I'm like, I'm your son. Like, I'm not asking you to give me a discount. I'll pay the same price. And my mom said, no, I don't. You're not serious. So she said, she just straight out like shot me down. And I was very, very disappointed, because I know if my dad was alive, I knew if my dad would have supported me, he probably would have gave me everything that I wanted.
So she didn't like the idea of selling.
She didn't like the idea. Okay. She's Filipino. She get a real job.
Yeah. Filipino moms, man.
Yeah. She's just like, you need to get a real job. You need to work hard. And I said, but mom, like I'm doing good.
Yeah.
She said, no, I'm not gonna rent it out to you. And so I was very, very, very mad about that.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, man, my mom's against me. She's telling me, and she actually told me, later on down the line, she told me I wouldn't succeed as a business owner in San Bernardino selling shoes, because she would even like, oh, you want to sell shoes, huh? You think that's gonna, like I just and during that time, she was dating like a very, very successful just entrepreneur guy. So he would even like throw it down on me too, like, I don't think you know what you're doing. And so I was getting it from both ends. And how
did you was that part of a driving force for you? Like, as in,
I mean, I didn't take it personal.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed, because Filipino moms, man, they could just be really, really, really hard.
Yeah, they just lay it out on you.
Yeah, and
I can resonate, man.
Yeah. So she, like I said, she, and it's like I was very disappointed, because this is like something that's in my family, like property, like you shouldn't be saying no. Like, I'm your son. Like, give me the opportunity. Like, if my dad was alive, we wouldn't even be having this discussion.
Like, give me a shot.
So it's like she said no. So I'm just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not, because like I said, it's a vision from God.
It's
gotta be. If it's a vision from God, it's gotta happen. So she owns a flower shop. So in like the back of her flower shop, she just had all this storage, all this clutter, and it was just empty, And I just told her, I was like, well, since you don't want me to rent out the back, I was like, can I clean this area up and just kind of like set up a display of shoes and merchandise? And she was just like, yeah, whatever, do what you want to do. So I was just like, all right, cool. So
she finally gave in a little bit. She was like, okay.
She was just like, because it was nothing there. So it wasn't really gonna bother her. So I cleaned it up and I started selling shoes in the back of my mom's flower shop. So that's kind of crazy. It's kind of weird. So when I started doing that, customers just start coming in, and it started disrupting her business, because flower shop, shoes, different type of demographics, different type of people. So now I have people coming in the flower shop that are high, they smell like weed. They smell like alcohol. They're loud.
Yeah.
San Bernadino.
Yeah.
This hood type of people. We got proper people, clean people, and then we got hood people, coming through, and it's infecting her clientele, because their clientele, they're in the flower shop buying flowers. Then they hear all this racket, commotion, foul language. Yeah. And then people start wanting to hang out in the back of the flower shop. So what mom's is not feeling all that. So she ended up shutting it down. She said, I don't want none of this going on. You're disrupting my business. You're scaring my customers. It's just bad for the flower shop. I need you to pack up all your stuff and you just need to go. Take it all home. And I was like, man, I gotta take all these shoes home. So first of all, I'm thinking like, how am I gonna take all these shoes home? And then I started even contemplating in my mind, you know what? I guess this is it. I guess it really wasn't meant to be. I had a good run. I made some good money. Maybe my mom's right. Maybe I just...
So doubt started
to creep in, because she's kicking me out the flower shop. Where am I gonna take all these shoes? So it was like 8 o'clock at night. Flower shop's closing up. I'm just thinking, and I'm even asking God, like, what do I do? Like, I can't take all this stuff. Like, I don't even have enough room to take, because I accumulated, a lot of stuff. So, I talk to her, I tell her, like, look, like, I know you want me to leave, I'll leave, but realistically, Mom, look at all these shoes. I cannot take all these shoes tonight. Yeah. That's you're just being unfair. I understand it's disrupting your business. I understand it's different type of people that are coming in. It's making you uncomfortable. How about I take all these shoes and I just put it up in the storage? So I'm in the back of the flower shop, but she has a deeper back of the flower shop, which is storage area. So that's the only thing I could think of. So I said, I'll move all these shoes to the back of the shop and I'll leave all the shoes there. She's like, but I don't want you selling shoes anymore. Not here. I don't feel comfortable in it, because it was the type of people that were coming through. Yeah. She just didn't feel comfortable anymore. So I just said, look, just be reasonable with me. Let me put all the shoes here. And I said, let me do this. Let me sell shoes by appointment only. And that's the only thing I could think of, like, at that moment. So
you try to compromise.
Yeah, so just to keep the dream alive, man. So my mom's like, she's like, yeah, if you do that, but I don't want anybody walking through here. I don't want anybody coming. If they come, you better be ready there, waiting for them, meeting up with them and walking them to the back. I don't want nobody walking to the back,
So did that the so-called store, did it have a name yet, or no? It was just like, oh, this is my spot.
Well, I mean, I had the IG up, the Good Company IG up already.
Okay, gotcha.
So I was like, I was doing good, like, social media wise, during that time, and the social media was bringing all the foot traffic to the flower shop. So once I did appointment only, I was a little bit disappointed, because I was like, man, how am I gonna sell shoes and just by appointment only? It's gonna be hard.
You felt like the traffic would die down.
I felt like it would die down, but honestly, like, that first month, man, business like doubled, tripled, like more
even
than
by appointment?
even by appointment only. So that's how I knew, like, God was giving me that assurance, like, no matter how bad it looks, like,
keep going.
My hand is over this dream. My hand is over this vision. Yeah. So and then my mom started seeing, me really taking it serious, the business wise of it, and then the opportunity came to where when she resisted me renting out her property, those people were leaving. So I had another opportunity. These people were leaving, so I approached her again. I said, Mom, like, can I rent it out now?
Yeah.
She said no. And I said, are you freaking serious? Yeah. Like, you're still going to tell me no? She's like, yeah, opening up a business in San Bernadino, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. It's not gonna be good for you. I'm doing you a favor.
This is the same location that you initially...
I'm approaching it again.
Yeah. So
I'm like, man, like, I'm really disappointed that she denied me once. She denied me twice. Mm-hmm. But I kept, even while I was doing business in the back of the flower shop, I kept speaking the business into existence. Like, people would come, they would buy shoes. They'd be like, hey, how long are you going to be here? I'll be like, well, this is only temporary. I'm about to get the place in the back.
So you're planning your seat already.
I kept telling that to every customer. I would say it so loud that she would hear it. Like, she would hear it, like, Andrew's crazy. He keeps telling my friends would keep telling me, like, well, how long are you going to be here? How long are you going to be here? Bro, don't worry about it. This is just temporary. I'm about to get the place in the back.
So she knew.
So everybody's like, but when are you going to get to the back? I'm like, don't worry about that. It's going to happen. God's going to make it happen. And I just would keep speaking it so loud so that she could hear it. Yeah. And then so by the time the second tenants came in the building, I was disappointed, that she would allow another person into the business before me. I'm son, I'm family. I'm not asking for a discount. So I don't, I'm still doing appointment only, building up my clientele. And man, believe it or not, overnight, I would say a miracle happened in that shop where one of the tenants, they ended up leaving the sink on overnight. I don't even know like what they did exactly. But some way, somehow, the water shot up to the roof. Oh, man. And the whole roof caved in. Dang. So then my mom had this whole huge, just difficult transition with the tenants now, because the tenants are pissed. They're mad that they're renting out this property. It's flooded. There's no roof. And then my mom's like, well, it's your fault. You guys left the water on. But it just didn't really make sense. But like I said, God was doing something. I mean, to this day, like it doesn't make sense how the water shot up to the roof. Roof got soaked. Roof caved in. From the sink. So like I said, it doesn't even make sense to this day. So they had a huge fallout. A lot of tension, a lot of warfare. So the people end up leaving. So I was just like, you're like, yo, Mom. But see, even up to that point, like these people didn't pay rent on time. They were always like, just difficult with my mom.
So they weren't a good fit.
They had excuses, and it was just like for me, it's like, see, Mom, like this is what I'm not saying it, but in my mind, I'm like, this is what happens when you don't give your family an opportunity,
someone that you could trust.
Yeah. So I told her, I said, like, I'm not asking for a discount. I want to pay what everybody else is paying, because you deserve it, but I feel like, that I should have the opportunity. And besides, look what has happened since you denied me opportunity.
Yeah.
So at that point, roofs, there's no roof, so obviously when I got in there, I had to do remodeling, new walls, new paint. But man, it was just a process of just being denied, not once, but twice, having to be patient, and just being, learning how to embrace the process, during that time. And when you embrace the process as much as you embrace the promise, the process is so much more smoother.
I love that.
But if you delay the process, you're always going to delay your blessing. So man, I learned so much from that, just process so much. I've been able to do so much teaching on that, and just how to stay planted, how to stay committed, how to stay consistent. Even when you have no support, because I had no support. I had no financial support, no financial backing. I didn't take out a business loan. Man.
Wait, is that still the same store? Like till this day?
Still the same store to this day.
Dang, that's crazy, man. How did it? Okay. So you're up and running.
Yeah.
Was there a point where you were like, okay, this is my store now. It's open. My customers come here. Like, was there like a point, like that moment, like you knew?
I always, like I said, I always saw the business, and I always treated it as a business before I had the business.
Yeah.
So, but it was never about shoes. It was never about the money. It was always about the people.
Yeah.
And God showed me, there's gonna be people coming in here. They're gonna be hungry.
Yeah.
They're gonna feel hurt. They're gonna feel low, and I need you to love on them. Yeah. I need you to serve them.
Yeah.
I need you to pray for them.
Yeah.
I need you to let them know that I'm real, and that that I want to be a part of their life. Mm-hmm. Just like how I saved you. You're gonna use that as a testimony to reach them. You know, so God always showed me that. So by the time, you know, we're painting, remodeling the shop, you know, people were coming in hungry. People were coming in thirsty. People were coming in lost. People were coming in depressed. People were coming in hopeless.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just able just to love on them, serve them, feed them, give them water, you know, just be there for them, and just allowing me just to be a light in such a dark area.
Yeah.
You know, and the value that I was able, you know, and the shop was able to bring to the people that were coming in, it made it a place of not just sales and shoes, but also a place where people could come in and actually get some prayer. You know, how rare is that? You know,
yeah,
and
you didn't hear it. And
5 years later, 5 years later to this day, we still have people coming in every day. They don't want to buy shoes. They don't want to buy nothing. They just want to come in. Hey, bro, I need some prayer. I'm having a bad day today. I just lost my job. I'm going through separation. You know, my wife's sick, and I heard about this place, and somebody told me this was a place where I could get some prayer. Is that true, big dog? Yeah. You know, people get at me like that, and I'll have people come in. They'll sell us shoes because they need money, and then I'll even have people that will sell us shoes. They'll go to their car, they'll come back, and they'll say, "Hey, man, is it true that this is a place where I can get some prayer?
That's nuts.
Because this is what I'm going through right now, man." And I didn't know if it was true, but can you pray for me? You know, and man, like, don't get me wrong, man. It feels good to sell shoes, but when you're able to encourage somebody, when you're able to speak life into somebody, and when you're able to just pour hope into somebody, that feeling is so much greater than $200-$300 sale.
So when these people started coming, was there a realization at that point? It's like, wow, like everything that God spoke to me.
It was just confirmation, you know, like everything that, like I said, everything that God showed me, it came to pass. Yeah. But just being able to take care of people and just to love people, to serve people, because you could talk about God and say God bless you, God loves you, but what does that mean when I feel like this? Yeah. You know, like people need to feel love, people need to see love, to really even give God a chance. Yeah. Because so much we look at God as this thing in the sky that he's in the sky, and some days he's good to me and some days he's not there for me, which really isn't true. Like, God places people on earth and he uses people to touch people. He's looking for people that will make himself available to him. Yeah. And just, the enemy uses people too. You know, we see evil, we see destruction, we see crime. You know, there's a real God and there's a real devil. You know, but you know, so it's really simple. You know, we're not preaching to nobody. We're loving people. And through loving people, we're showing people that God is real. You know, because people need to see that, because you could tell people God is real, but when you don't take care of them, I don't believe in your God, bro, because I don't feel no love. You know, and love is the number one thing. When you read the Bible, you know, the greatest commandments in the Bible are to love God with all your heart, all your mind, and with all your soul. Second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as you were to love yourself. And Jesus said, if you do these two commandments, you fulfill the gospel, you fulfill the law. You know, and basically what Jesus was saying, love God, love people. And if you love God, you'll really love people. And when you love people, you show people who God is.
Man, that's crazy, man. Dang. So let's talk about, so did all of this, you know, these people come into your store and everything, is this how really the ministry came about?
Yeah, because I really, like I said, vision came in bits and pieces. He did not show me that I was going to have a ministry. I thought like ministry would be like just charity. Like me just, like I saw like the ministry part would be just me just giving. But I never saw the ministry part as me like traveling, speaking, preaching. Like I never saw that, but it started with just being faithful with the people. You know, taking care of the people, meeting the needs of the people. and doing that inside the shop, and that like transcended to taking care of the people outside of the shop, taking care of people in the community. Like I said, every Thursday we do an outreach. Every Thursday we have 10 to 15 volunteers, and we adopt neighborhoods in San Bernardino. And that word adopt means we just take ownership of a particular street complex, and we say, for 2 to 3 months, we're going to be here every Thursday. We're going to knock on doors. We're going to meet needs, and we're going to build relationships. We're just going to love and serve people for the next 2 to 3 months. And we've done that in almost every bad neighborhood in San Bernardino, and that's allowed us to get to know the people in the community, to invest in the people into the community, and just to show the people in the community we're not here just for business. We're here to take care of you. We're here to get to know you. I know that sounds strange because, I'll go to a door and I'll tell somebody that, and they'll be like, "You want to meet my needs?"
You're like, "Who
really?
Are you?"
You're not, what are you selling me, bro?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I'm just letting you know that for the next 2 to 3 months, I'm going to be here. And I would love to get to know you. I would love to build a relationship with you. I would love to help you. And in any way, shape, form that's possible, and if you want us to help you in any way, shape, or form, please let me know, because that's what we're gonna be here to do. And to some people, it's like, wow, like, you really want to help me? So the first time they might not believe it, but once they see us come every Thursday,
once they see your presence,
every
the presence
Thursday,
of your,
and it's the consistency that shows the people. You know what? I've heard people say that, I want to take care of you. I heard people say that we're going to be here, because people hear that a lot. Like,
and they get let down. Right?
We're here for you, bro. Whatever. The church, they're good at letting people down. Telling people we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But once the people in the neighborhood see us every Thursday, that's how they know it's real, it's genuine, it's authentic. Because people, you have your people that will just do their good deeds just to do a good deed. Like, hey, I'm going to go here, I'm going to give food. And there's nothing wrong with that. But people want to know that you really, really care. And how people know that you really care is you start being consistent.
Yeah.
And so it's the consistency of us coming out every Thursday that shows the people, like, man, these people are not just those typical Christian people. These are like real God people.
Man, that's crazy, man. Again, one of the things, like, I wanted to bring you on the show because I know and I haven't been involved with it, but I see from afar the type of impact and what you're doing with your community. And again, you've explained it yourself. San Bernardino is not the most safest, ideal place of living, but there's still people there. And you open up a business and you allowed a place, where people could feel welcome, where they could pray, where, they could feel, just somewhere where they could feel comfort, I guess you could say. And then you start a ministry, and this is what I find so amazing about your story. And then all this other stuff from your upbringing, like, it's beautiful, man. It seems like, you're definitely living a life of purpose, is what I say. And I think a lot of people are trying to find that.
Purpose,
I know I'm trying to find that. I know everybody's trying to find it. And, man, it's just crazy, all this stuff that you're doing, man. We're going to be running out of time soon. I got to ask a few more questions that I really wanted to ask you. The first one is, what's next for Good Companie? So Good Companie, again, cosignment shop in the heart of San Bernardino. You're running this ministry. You're serving the Lord. What do you think is next for Andrew and Good Companie?
Obviously, vision of expansion. We're working on right now. Second location, already thought about third location.
Wow.
The goal is to have 10 by the time I'm 40.
Nice.
So I have time, and there's a process to attaining and striving for these goals. But just how I learned and to embrace the process of opening up the first one. Now it's time for duplication. And I'm in the same place today. A lot of people, when they work really, really, really hard to get somewhere, they feel like they've accomplished. They feel like they're done. I don't feel like I'm done. I don't feel like we're even brushing the surface. I believe there's like so much more that we're gonna do, so many more people that we're gonna impact and influence. So many, I believe that we're even gonna inspire other businesses to even take the approach that we take into investing back into the people, using the finances of the profits of the business, and actually using some of that to invest back into the people, because you have to invest back into the community. So there's expansion, you know just more being more productive, and also just along the way continuing to allow God just to be the Lord of my life.
Yeah. Man, dude, I can't wait for you to do that. I'd love to be a part of it too, man. Whatever you expand, I'd love to spread your message again. I think you being on this show is the epitome of the type of guest I want here, because the parables, again, is about really, I want to spread your impact and your message. So again, so happy to have had you on the show, man, dude. I really appreciate it, man. And I got to ask you one more question, because we're both in the sneaker culture. I mean, I kind of settled down a little bit, got rid of a lot of my heat. And like you said, too, you don't own 100 pairs no more. But I do got to ask you, man, what are your holy grails? And for those who don't know what holy grails are, it's basically the sneaker. Like, which one is your go-to? Which one's like the ones that...
You know what? It's believe it or not, man, I mean, my go-to shoe, and a lot of my friends know this, I mean, it may not be like a popular shoe for everybody else. Like,
everyone has a different preference.
My favorite shoes, man, are my black cement 3s.
Cement 3s?
I love people that know me. My wife, I've been married for going on 3 years, and she's told me numerous times, like, babe, can you stop wearing those shoes? Like,
that's how you know. That's how you know it's your holy grail.
For 20 days straight. I rock them, I beat them. And then once they got a little too much wear, I'll actually buy a new pair of black cement 3s, or I'll buy a good used pair. I just love the black cement 3, bro. I love it.
Classic, right?
I just love it. The black, the white, the gray, the elephant print.
Yeah.
Dude, that I could wear that shoe like every day.
Yeah.
Like, but my wife won't let me.
She'll
tell me, she'll say, please,
like, change it up.
She'll tell me, stop wearing those shoes. Like, to the point to where, like, she starts disliking them.
Yeah, that's crazy. Maybe it's kind of like, I don't know, like you wear a white tee every day or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just love that shoe. And then they re-retroed it recently with the Nike on the back. So the value of that shoe has dropped. But before that re-retro, that shoe was going
hot.
Up there.
Yeah, it was hot.
So I know it's only gonna be a matter of time where that shoe is gonna go back up there, and everybody's gonna be like, because right now with the re-retro release, it's like they're not feeling that shoe no more.
Yeah. They're doing it too much to the point where, like, some of these hot shoes that were so hot before, they're kind of just losing interest, like kind of like the Concords, man. The Concords are coming back this winter, bro.
I don't want them to bring out these, because these are classic shoes, man. So,
hey, but if any one of you guys from Jordan Brand, Nike are listening to this, man, stop retroing these classic shoes so much, please.
I don't think they're gonna listen.
No, I know they ain't gonna listen. Yeah. All right. You know what? Actually, there's one question that I missed, and I'm curious, and I know there is an origin to it that I had to ask you. What is the meaning behind the Good Company name?
Oh, man, that's a good question. A lot of people ask me that. How'd you get the name? So when I knew I was gonna have a business, obviously you gotta have a name. Yeah. So actually, I prayed on it. I remember I listed like 10 names, and Good Company was one of the names that really stood out. And the reason why I chose Good Company was because I knew that and people from all walks of life could relate to this. Everybody wants good company. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants good company.
Yeah, they don't
want it. But it's not even really easy to find. People look for acceptance, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, and like, just for me in my journey of seeking God and growing in God, like, I always had bad company before God. Mm-hmm. Like, I just had bad company in the streets, hustle, the hustle. I just always had bad company, and I seen like how it infected like my life.
Yeah.
You know, in 1 Corinthians 15:33, it says, "Be not deceived, for bad company corrupts good morals."
Yeah.
You know, and I grew up with the good morals. I grew up in a good family background dynamic, but since I had the bad company is like a virus.
Yeah.
It'll infect you, it'll decay you. And that word corrupt means to alter from its original form. So that word alter from its original form. So like in our original form, like God created us to love, He created us to share, He created us to be humble, He created us in His image. But when you're around the bad company, we get altered from that original form, and we get altered from being created in His image to a person that's angry, that's hateful, that's deceitful, that's violent. You know, we just become, the bad company makes you become something that you're not created to be.
Yeah.
You know, and bad company, it's a virus. It'll come inside you, it'll infect you, it'll change you. When you hang around bad people for so long, you start doing bad things on a day-to-day basis to where the bad becomes the norm.
Yeah.
You start just accepting the bad behaviors, and you start looking at it, you know what, like, this is normal. This isn't even bad anymore.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the altar of your mind, the altar of your heart. And you know, bad company just, man, it infected me so much growing up. And in the transition of just knowing God and getting into His presence, having intimacy with the Lord, I developed good company with Him. And in the transitioning of just growing with God, He brought me the good company that I always needed in my life, which was solid brothers that are like-minded like me, brothers that encourage me, inspire me to be sharp, that just, you know, when I look at their life, it brings life to me.
Yeah.
You know, and when
I
you have
love the name,
when
man.
you have good people around you,
Yeah.
you're able to live a healthy, productive, clean, you know, lifestyle. And I just know good company, it's something that everybody wants in life, everybody needs in life, but not everybody has it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and what's good to somebody may not be good to somebody. What's bad to somebody may not be bad to somebody. So it's also depending on how you view it, because good company, you know, good company is having the people in your corner, like I said, that will inspire you, encourage you, and build you to be a better person. So that's what good company is to me. I have great company around me. I have awesome, amazing friends, solid people in my corner, and the company around me has definitely influenced me to be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
You know, God number one, you know, but also God putting the right people around me, and also me allowing to see and identify what I need around me.
Yeah. Man, dude. I love the name, man.
And then,
Man,
the
dude.
good company, you know how we changed it from a Y to a IE.
Yeah.
You know, IE, Inland
IE.
Empire,
The
you know,
IE.
when you look up
IE stand up.
you know, so it's the Inland Empire, and it's just to let everybody know, you know, the Inland Empire it could be known for a lot of different things depending where you live.
Yeah.
But where I live, it's known as a bad place. But we're displaying good company every Thursday.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood.
Yeah.
When we go into these neighborhoods, and we're allowing little boys, little girls to see group of individuals come into a neighborhood. And man, it means so much. Like, I've had little boys, little girls come up to me, and they've said, like, man, like, we want to be like you. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? I want to do what you're doing. I want to feed people like you. And man, I remember we did a because we do outreaches everywhere, not just in our city. We did one in Bakersfield at Martin Luther King Park. Over 1,000 people came out. We're leaving in our van, and a young, maybe 8 years old, young boy comes up to me, and before we leave, we'll probably never see him again, but he said something that he said, I want to be just like you guys when I grow up.
Man.
You know, and it's because, you know, these young boys and young girls, they see so much drug violence, they see so much gang violence, they see
You see a bunch of dark stuff.
They see so much bad things.
Yeah.
And for us to bring light to these neighborhoods and to just, it's like we're displaying it to the kids.
Yeah.
Like this, you don't have to pick up a gun. You don't have to sell this. You don't have to join this. That you could actually be this in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so it's more than just doing a good deed. It's more than just building needs. It's being an example to the young and lost generation, into the kids, the babies, these kids that don't have fathers, these kids that don't have role models, these kids that they're orphans. What is an orphan? An orphan is it's somebody that has lack of support and lack of care.
Yeah.
These are orphans. Even though they have mom in the home, they don't have support. They don't have care. They don't have love. They don't have the proper resources. That would make it fair for them to be successful. It is what it is. But when we come into the neighborhood, it's so much deeper than just doing a good deed. Yeah. It's way deeper than that. It's about building good communities and influencing and impacting people. You know what? The change we're bringing to your community, that's the same change that you could do too.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Good company in the building, man. Again, I appreciate you being on the show. Andrew, man, of Good Company. They could find you at Good Company.
Good Company is the shop, GoodCompanie. So that's the IE at the end, no Y, Good Company. Then our ministry is same thing, Good Companie Ministry. Follow us on IG. We're doing a lot of things in the community. Travel, I do speaking engagements, entrepreneurial, teachings, leadership. If you want to reach us, Good Companie Ministry, you can email us. If you want to have us out for an event, goodcompanie@gmail. We're already getting, I'm already getting booked for 2019.
Man,
people have been reaching out to me for engagements, July next year, August, September, so it's a blessing to come and just to really talk about what God is doing. I don't really ever want to come off as a person that self-promotes himself, because I know that without God, I would be nothing. I would not be where I'm at. I would not be successful. I would not be succeeding in the things that I'm succeeding in. God's number one in my life. Jesus is Lord and Savior. A lot of people want Jesus as Savior, but they don't want him as Lord. When somebody's Lord over your life, meaning they have ownership over you, and Jesus isn't the type of God that's going to put you into slavery. Like, he gives you freedom. He gives you love. He gives you joy. He gives you peace. So it's good having him as Lord over your life.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Good Companie Ministry, goodcompanie@gmail.com. You guys could reach us. Man, it was a blessing to be on the Parables. And episode 7.
Episode 7.
7 is a number of perfection. So I know God is perfect and complete in all his ways. So.
Man, dude, I love it, man. Guys, episode 7. I cannot wait to upload this and share it with you guys. Talk about being impactful. This is what we're about. I'm so glad for Andrew to come here and inspire me. I'm glad, man, let's spread this as much as possible. I want it like a wildfire. Andrew's doing amazing things within his community and just just everywhere. Everyone's being affected. Again, I thank you, man. Such a powerful episode. Episode 7, we're out.
What's love got to do? Hey, got to do with it. I get a little taste and I'm through with it. Then I send it right back to you with it. Hey, how